Hi everyone, welcome to this fifth module of Diversey training series on infection prevention. My name is Claire Khosravi and today we're going to talk about AHP, so accelerated hydrogen peroxide, and Oxivir. I'm going to share my screen and we will start in a second. So as I said, today the topic is AHP Technology and Oxivir, but before we start, let me tell you a bit about myself. So I have a doctoral degree in microbiology and molecular biology. I'm responsible for our full range of professional level disinfectants for our infection prevention portfolio. I provide expertise and consultation on microbiology, EN norms, medical devices to our customers, and I deliver training programs for sales, marketing, technical manager, and our application specialist at a European level. So this is the fifth training module of our series. I really invite you to have a look at the first four training module on the microbiology, efficacy testing, and BPR and CE mark medical devices regulation. But first, what is infection prevention? So there is a nice definition from the World Health Organization. So infection prevention and control is a scientific approach and practical solution designed to prevent harm caused by infection to patients and health workers. It is grounded in infection disease, epidemiology, social science, and health system strategy. But first, we need to understand what is accelerated hydrogen peroxide. So a bit of a history of the active ingredients in disinfectants. So we all know chlorine, which is the oldest active technology for the disinfectants. It has broad efficacy, however, it is unstable and it's a poor cleaner. Then in the 1950s, we have seen the iodine, in the 1960s, the phenolics, and in 1990, the quats. So the quaternary ammonium, they are very used broadly within Europe. They have broad efficacy, however, they are also slow acting. And in later on, we have seen some other active technologies such as ferritic acid, silver, and most recently technology that are based on hydrogen peroxide. They are fast acting, safe, but not yet well known. But we also need to understand what is the properties of an ideal disinfectant. So we started to discuss about the active technology, but of course, the properties of an ideal disinfectant are key to understand which technology is best and which technology is adapted to our customer needs. And in this paper from Rutella, it is summarize all the different properties of an ideal disinfection. So there are a number of them, from broad spectrum, efficacy, fast acting, remains wet, unaffected by environmental factor, non-toxic, non-irritating, the compatibility with the surfaces, the persistence of the active. Is it easy to use? Is it has an acceptable odor? Economical, soluble, stable, cleaner, and non-flammable. But then we need to understand that all disinfectant technology comes with trade-off. The ideal, the perfect disinfectant does not exist. So it's all a matter of trade-off and a comparison between the different properties. So in this table, you have three different colors. So green for best, orange for average, and red for does not meet the standard. And if you look at the different technologies, so EHP it's for improve hydrogen peroxide disinfectant, chlorine, peracetic acid, quat alcohol, quat solvent, alcohol, and lactic acid. So if we look at the left column with the IHP, then you can see that for most of the properties, it has really good performance. You have the red for the persistence, because the persistence is that if the activities of the technology it's staying longer on the surface. However, since improved hydrogen peroxide it's very effective, then it kills the pathogen in a very short time. And as you can see, all disinfectant have some gaps in performance. So it's really the best, what it depending on what the facility is looking for. So this is also very important to understand, to really understand what the customer, the facility is looking for, and then advise them in the best way. And one of the properties that is also important when we talked about choosing the right disinfectant technology is the dry time versus the label contact time. So this is an important criteria that guarantee the efficacy of your product. And on this table, you can see the drying time in dark blue and the disinfecting contact time required to kill the pathogen in light blue. Then you see in minutes time, so from 0 to 12 minutes. And then you have the different active technologies. So you have the bleach, the IPA, the quat, the AHP, 0.5% of hydrogen peroxide, 60% IPA, 70% ethanol, and then the phenol. And you can see that with AHP, the dry time exceed the contact time. So this is key, and this really ensure that the right efficacy is applied on your surfaces. So then how does the chemistry, so we talk about all of those different active technology, but how do they differentiate? So there are technical differences that we need to focus on. So the spectrum of kill, of course, we need to have the broadest set of efficacy, the speed of kill, the contact time required to kill a certain pathogen, the safety to the surfaces, the safety to people, with the immediate or delayed health hazard, the hard water tolerance, the single active ingredient or blend of actives, the cleaning ability of the formula. Is my disinfectant is also cleaner or not? The sustainability of the formula and the fragrance in use. But the efficacy and the safety are believed to be the most important customer needs. So let's go a bit deeper in the accelerated hydrogen peroxide technology. So what it is. AHP is a patented synergistic blend of commonly used safe ingredients that, when combined with low levels of hydrogen peroxide, dramatically increase its germicidal potency and cleaning performance. So how does it work? It's an oxidizer like chlorine. It binds with the outer wall of the organism and damages it, so causing the intracellular contents of the organism, of the cell of the organism, to leak. And the oxidizer, they are widely considered to be the best disinfectant because the organism cannot adapt to this mechanism. So what's the advantage of AHP? So AHP was the first significant improvement in the disinfectant chemistry since the quat. And we have unique hydrogen peroxide formulas that are patented and proven ready-to-use formulas, and patented concentrated formula as well. So our Diversey's range of AHP-powered cleaning and disinfection product. So while selecting a disinfectant technology, it does require the balance between the key needs of our customer. So of course, the broad efficacy, the cleaning effectiveness, the surface and the worker safety, and the sustainability. So we're gonna look at those criteria in the next slide. So talking about the cleaning performance. So the cleaning performance of AHP vs other actives. So we will see later on in this presentation about our Oxivir product, but they are indeed a very good cleaner on top of being a disinfectant. So you can see on this slide, on this graph in the right side, that is the percentage of the soil removal in a standard cleaning test. So we have an Oxivir product based on AHP, a quat, lactic acid, chlorine, and water. And you can see that indeed the percentage of the soil removal is more important with a product like Oxygenrich Cell compared to a quat or a lactic acid product. Then we need to ensure the safety, of course, for our user. An Oxygenrich product are thorough on key pathogen, but they are indeed a safe choice for your employees and customer because They can be safely used without PPE. They are no added fragrance. They reduce the risk of disinfectant compliance, and they are safely used on a broad set of surfaces. And here it's the Hazard Material Identification System, the HMIS, and it's a numerical rating that measure the health hazard, flammability, and physical hazard of a substance. And the Oxivir disinfectant cleaners at use dilution are rated at the lowest possible toxicity levels, so 0. Another important point when we talk about Oxivir, when it is used either in a concentrate or in a ready-to-use format, together with a cotton cloth or a microfiber cloth, is that AHP disinfectant does not bind with cleaning tool fabric, unlike other type of disinfectant, for example, quats. Another key criteria is the sustainability of AHP. So HP disinfectant delivers strong sustainability profile. So the hydrogen peroxide in HP disinfectant breaks down to oxygen and water by the time the surface dries. The HP disinfectant, they do not go into the waste stream for the facility, and they do not cause environmental damage after the use, like chlorine is believed to do. So, what are our products within Diversey that are based on AHP technology? So, we have our Oxivir product range. And here on this slide, you can see on the left side our daily disinfection range, which is called Oxygenrich Cell, where we can have it in different packaging, so in concentrated, in ready to use, and in pre-wetted wipe. It's dedicated for your daily use for high touch surfaces in medium risk area, for example, patient room, offices, table, desk, classroom, supermarket, etc. And then we have our Oxivir Sporicide range, which is dedicated for a task or outbreak disinfection. So for high touch surfaces in high risk area. So our daily disinfectant, we have our Oxygenrich Cell and our Oxygenrich Cell foam. Oxygenrich Cell is a one-step cleaner disinfectant with broad spectrum efficacy and short contact time. No hazard warning in dilution. Excellent user safety profile because you do not need to wear any protective equipment. Does not contain respiratory irritant. And then we also have the RTU format as well. If we look in summary about the efficacy of both type of product, we have a bactericidal claim in 1 minute, virucidal in 30 seconds, and yeasticidal in 5 minutes. Here it's a summary of the set of efficacy that we have for our Oxygenrich Cell. But if you would like more deeper, more detailed overview, this is our overview for the medical area, where you can find the European norms for bacteria, yeast, and viruses. And as I said, we do have the full virucidal claim for Oxygenrich Cell because we have tested against the most hardest pathogens, the most difficult to kill viruses that are adenovirus, poliovirus, and murine and those are the reference viruses that we must test according to the EN 14476. And if we put together in a table the reference organism and the European norms, this is how it looks like. So we have talked about this table in the microbiology training module, but here now we have added as well the European norms, and on the right, the efficacy of Oxygenrich Cell. So you can see that Oxygenrich Cell is effective against envelope viruses, yeast, bacteria, but also non-envelope viruses. It is also WUL-SAFE approved. So Diversey has the WUL-SAFE for our Oxygenrich Cell, Oxygenrich Cell foam, and Oxygenrich Cell wipe. And then let's talk briefly about our outbreak disinfectant range. So Oxyvir Sporicide, unlike Oxygenrich Cell, is based on two active. So hydrogen peroxide and glycolic acid. This is dedicated for high-risk area for example, in a healthcare included intensive care unit operating theater. It is applied as a foam. It is ready to use for faster disinfection. It has a broad efficacy data because it is effective against bacteria, viruses, spores, and tuberculosis as well, and non-rinsing required. And this is the summary of the efficacy of our Oxygenrich sporocyte. So as I said, Oxygenrich sporocyte is effective against a broad range of pathogens, which include the bacteria spores, mycobacteria, yeast and mold, and non-envelope and envelope viruses. And if we look at the market competitor, and how do we compare our product, and what are the most important criteria? I think we have discussed about those criteria, but if we put them all together, we'll say that the fast acting is key, especially in this COVID-19 pandemics. We really need to have products that are effective and in a short time. We need to make sure our disinfectant remains wet for the entire period of the contact time. We need to have a look at the cleaning performance of our disinfectant. In the case of Oxivir, they are cleaner disinfectant, which reduce the time needed for a proper hygiene and disinfection. The surface compatibility, we need to make sure that our disinfectants are compatible with a broad set of surfaces. The sustainability aspect, we have seen that AHP technology is degrading into oxygen and water, and the virucidal claim. And if we look at the product alternative, here you can see in green the good performance, orange average performance, and red for bad performance. So there's a numbers of product alternative out there, but on the left side of the table, you can see that we have compared Oxygenrich Cell against those different criteria, and Oxygenrich Cell is performing really well. And if you have any question on this training module, I really suggest you to contact your Diversey representative. And otherwise, I thank you for your attention, and I strongly invite you to the 6th training module on our pre-wetted cleaner disinfectant wipe based on AHP. I thank you very much for your attention.